I was picking up my granddaughter from school when she slid into the passenger seat and just stared ahead. Not upset, not upset. Not angry, just blank, like the spark inside her had dimmed. She's 15. I asked how her day went. She shrugged. I asked if something happened. She said no. We drove in silence for a while. Then she said something I haven't been able to shake. But Grandpa, does it ever feel like nothing you do really matters? My name is George. I'm 87 years old. I've lived through wars, economic collapses, personal failures, and losses that still ache when I think about them. And that question, coming from someone just starting life, hit me harder than anything else ever has, because I've asked myself that same question many times. The difference is this: she's standing at the beginning of her life, looking forward. I'm near the end, looking back. And somewhere between those two views, I think I finally understand something important. We live in a world obsessed with significance. Everyone wants to leave a legacy. Be remembered, make an impact. People chase titles, followers, attention. They measure their value by how visible they are, how loud their success looks. I understand why. I really do. But here's what nearly 9 decades have taught me. The things that matter most almost never feel important when they're happening. Let me tell you about a woman named Margaret. She lived 3 houses down from us for over 40 years. She was a 3rd grade teacher, never married. No children of her own. She taught at the same elementary school her entire career. When she retired, the school held a small ceremony. Maybe 30 people came. No cameras, no headlines, just a plaque and a bouquet. 2 years later, she passed away quietly in her sleep. At her funeral, I expected a modest crowd. Instead, the church was overflowing. One by one, people stood up to speak. A doctor said she was the first person who made him believe he was smart. A woman who now runs a charity said Margaret taught her to read when no one else had the patience. A man in his 50s brought his daughter's daughter and said he became a teacher because of her. Life after life quietly shaped. Margaret never tried to change the world. She never chased recognition. She simply showed up. Learned names, noticed struggle. Stayed late to help a child understand fractions or spelling. Nothing flashy. Nothing impressive on paper. And yet, the ripple of her life is still moving through people she'll never meet. That's when it hit me. We've misunderstood what it means to matter. We think mattering means being known by many. But life doesn't work that way. Life is built from small, ordinary moments between people, a conversation that shifts someone's direction, a kindness that arrives just before someone gives up. Choosing to stay when walking away would be easier. When I was 39, my life was unraveling. My business was failing. Money was tight. I was drinking too much, sleeping too little, and carrying a constant sense of shame. One evening, I sat in my car outside a bar, debating whether to go in. Then a man named Tom knocked on my window. We barely knew each other. He said he was grabbing coffee and asked if I wanted to join. That was it. No lecture, no advice, just coffee. We sat in a diner for 2 hours talking about ordinary things. His kids, a book he liked, a trip he once took. Somewhere in that simple conversation, something inside me steadied. I didn't go into that bar. I went home. Tom probably forgot about that night by the next morning. But it mattered. It changed everything. That's how mattering usually works. It's quiet, unannounced, invisible to everyone except the person who needed it. My wife used to write letters, real ones with stamps. She wrote to our kids at college, old friends, neighbours, distant relatives. I teased her about it, told her phones existed now. She just smiled and kept writing. After she passed, I found boxes of letters people had sent back. Nearly everyone mentioned how much her words meant, how they saved certain letters, how they reread them during hard times. She wasn't trying to be important. She was just reaching out, and it mattered deeply. Here's what I wish someone had told me when I was young. Your life does not need to be extraordinary to be meaningful. The pressure to stand out, to be exceptional, crushes people. It convinces them that ordinary life isn't enough. But almost everything holding this world together is done by people whose names we'll never know. Parents caring for sick children at 3 a.m. workers doing honest jobs without applause. Friends who check in when something feels off. People who help, listen, and show up without expecting credit. If you want to know whether your life matters, don't look at crowds. Look at the people right in front of you. Are you present? Are you kind when it costs you something? Do you listen instead of waiting to speak? Do you keep your word? Those things won't make you famous, but they will make your life count. I keep thinking about my granddaughter's question, does anything I do really matter? And I've realized the question itself is flawed, because we're usually asking if we matter in a grand, visible way. But mattering is smaller than that and far more powerful. It's knowing your presence makes a difference to real people. When my grandson was 7, he was terrified of water. For 3 weeks, I spent 15 minutes a day standing with him at the shallow end of the pool. No pressure, no pushing, just patience. By the end of summer, he was swimming. He doesn't remember those moments, but I do, because that's what mattering looks like. The older I get, the clearer it becomes. Most of what we chase disappears. Status fades. Achievements blur. People forget faster than we expect. But they don't forget how you made them feel. They don't forget that you noticed them. They don't forget that you showed up. Last week at the grocery store, the cashier looked exhausted. Instead of rushing off, I asked how she was. Really asked. She told me she was working double shifts because her mother was sick. We talked for 3 minutes. I told her she was doing something honourable. She thanked me twice. Did it change the world? No. Did it matter? Yes, so here's my answer to my granddaughter, and maybe to you. What you do matters, just not in the ways you've been taught to expect. It matters in the quiet choices. The unnoticed kindness. The moments no one applauds. Your life doesn't need to be a performance. It needs to be honest, present, kind. That's where real meaning lives. I'm 87 years old. When I think about what I want my life to have meant, I don't think about recognition. I think about the people I loved well, the times I listened, the moments I stayed. Those things mattered, and they always will.